Hey, how's it going? Checking in with my daily update, steps taking progress towards the speaking goals. And today I delivered another session. It was a virtual session on Teams to actually the same group that I spoke to yesterday. I'm not sure how we managed to get 2 sessions booked in such quick succession, but it was a good session. I felt like it was a little clunky at times. Again, on Teams, we've opted to not do breakout rooms because it's just very clunky getting them into it. But that does mean then some of the more conversational interactions where everybody's getting involved doesn't happen. And so there is a bit more work getting them to do things individually and then asking them for their feedback and thoughts as we go through. But actually, they were a great group and very interactive, but certainly makes me think we've got to come up with a better solution to that particular problem. And we have to run it on Teams, unfortunately, because they can't access Zoom. Some of them don't have mics that work. Some of them don't have, very few, if any. I think one person out of 120 was on a camera. Bless him, he was on camera the whole way through. 2 people at one point, but mainly it was just one person. It just makes it harder work. But because the group was so good, it was I thought it was a great session. And actually at the end, bearing in mind they've done 3 half-day sessions with us so far. And at the end, we asked them for some feedback and what their takeaways were. And as they were saying goodbye, some of them actually said it was the best session so far. Really enjoyed it, really kind of motivational as well. I mean, there's a session on stress and performance and some really good feedback from that. Speaking of feedback, I got some other feedback back the other day from the supply chain sessions that I ran, and although I had some preliminary feedback, they'd gathered together loads more from individuals who were on the courses, and just really kind of good. I can definitely put that one down as a resounding success. And when I sort of compare that with how far off the mark I apparently was for the Portugal keynote, sometimes, I'd like to think that I don't need that external reassurance, but you kind of have to be guided in some ways by what's the world saying. If I feel really good about what I'm doing and nobody likes it and nobody's connecting with it, then I've got to kind of listen to that if I'm going to have an impact. But at the same time, so by that means, what I mean is it's good to get some feedback that's very positive compared with the you've missed the mark feedback that I had from that keynote. One other thing just to update on as well was that awards ceremony. I realised when I did yesterday's update, I didn't mention anything about that. It's not because I didn't win, although I didn't. It was a bit bizarre. There was about 10 shortlisted coaches and people operating in the wellbeing space. We weren't all coaches. Some were in all kinds of different work modes, but all around mental health and wellbeing. And apparently they couldn't decide. So we are all winners. And they decided in a couple of other categories, but not for our category. So it was a little bit bizarre. I still don't know whether I can technically say I'm an award-winning coach or not, but it was an interesting hour, shall we say, and actually really good to connect with some other top flight professionals who are doing some great work in their spaces as well. Tomorrow I've got another session. It's a 2-hour session on boosting mental well-being, another Gen Healthy Mind session, this time to a brand new group of HPE apprentices, and looking forward to that one. That'll be a good session. We've actually got some more work with them in the new year and across the course of 2023 with their US and India counterparts. So we'll be delivering some early morning and later afternoon sessions, same program but delivered to those different cohorts in different countries, which is going to be quite exciting to do as well, just to kind of get to know different people and different cultures and how they respond maybe differently to the content that we have planned. So I have to do a little bit of thinking around any changes that we might need to make. Otherwise, that is my update for the day. I think this afternoon I've for some reason felt a little bit wobbly, just not quite getting into the flow of work. I had a few things to do, didn't help. I had to go and pick up my son from school because their water was switched off for problems with Thames Water, so they shut the school at 1 o'clock. So instead of having a clear afternoon to get my head down and do some work, I had to go and get him. It was fine. We played drafts and did some wrestling and made smoothies and things, but it did mean that I didn't get all the things done that I wanted to. And as a consequence, I think, I appreciate the opportunity to have done all those things with him, spent some time with him, but at the same time, I feel like I'm still behind on a few bits. So I'll have to make sure I get myself caught up with those things on Friday, because tomorrow I'm off to the PSA after presenting. I've got a PSA session down in Reading, so I'll be out of action tomorrow afternoon as well. Anyway, that really is my update for the day now. As always, thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Bye for now.